Welcome. You are now in Ray's Juke Joint. I'm here with my guy Eric, and we're going to talk a little bit of Sox. Eric, how you doing? It's been a minute since we did a show, just me and you, buddy.
I know. I'm looking forward to it. It's getting close to baseball season. Getting close.
Yeah, it's getting real close. We're 2 weeks away, people. I mean, we're talking about the Chicago White Sox starting their season on the 30th of March. Is it the 30th?
Yeah, Houston, right?
Yeah, 30 March in Houston. I mean, we get the freaking we get to see our team come out against the World Series champs and see what we're made of. And I'm pretty excited, Eric. So, Eric, to start the show, this is my question, and everybody, I just need Eric because I haven't spoken to him about this, and I gave him a little hint. But here's the question, Eric.
All right, here we go.
Has Pedro Grifol, Johnson, our bench coach, oh God, I just lost his name. What's our the former manager for the Royals?
Grifol?
No, not for the Royals.
Chescar?
You know what I'm talking about.
Head coach Matoya?
Matoya, yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Have they come in to this locker room, done evaluations, and said, hey, Yoan Moncada, I need you to do this. And he listened. Do you think that this team has come in and they fixed Yoan Moncada, Luis Robert, and the other star players that have been playing beneath their talent?
I mean, I don't think hiring Grifol, whose background was by accident. I think that had something to do with it. I'm for sure the focus is going to be there. I mean, one of the first meetings Grifol had was talking about getting Yoan Moncada back to, walking 100 times a year. Like that was one of the first things he said out of his mind, right out of his deal, was going back to not necessarily the swing approach he had last year, but more of the patient approach. As far as fixed, I mean, I think there's things that can't be fixed. I think when you add the swing and miss percentages and stuff that Moncada does, I think he's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster. But I even think last year we saw a few games. I think the highs are going to be higher. I think we're going to see more of them, or whatever. But I think there's still going to be some lows. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can throw out to 2019. You ain't going to see a 300 hitting Yoan Moncada. But can he get back to hitting 240, 250? Can he have a 100-point differential in the on-base percentage? Like, how much I hate on-base percentage, right? Worthless stat in baseball. But one thing that I look at all the time is what's the differential between your batting average and your on-base percentage? Like if you're a hitter, you're a slugger, whatever it is, like you're thinking, 50 points is a good number. Mm-hmm. Now, if you're somebody like that has a big swing and miss, talking about Yaz, Gallo, Moncada, some of these guys that are in this deal, you're going to want more of like a 100-point differential or an 80, 75-point differential between the two because you're going to want to see more patience, more walks, and makes up for that swing and miss percentage. So, yeah, I mean, I think everything seems different. To answer your questions, it's the best spot in the world for Grifol because they can't be any worse than they were last year.
Thank you.
It's not possible.
That's the easiest way to do an analysis right there. That is the easiest way to do an analysis.
Yeah, it's like taking over for a guy that burned down a house. Like, if you take over the kitchen, the guy burned down the restaurant last time, as long as you don't burn down the place, you already did better than what the team did last year. Like, it's a great situation. Like, there's so much room for improvement. So,
yeah, and the other thing, just to give a little bit of what I was thinking, I've seen Yoan run out a grounder to the shortstop last year. I mean, in spring training, he's doing this. I'm like, did he just run out a fucking grounder?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he's running it out. He's running hard. I'm looking at Yaz fucking running the bases hard. Like Yaz with his bad knees, he's running hard.
Yep. I saw Vaughn go first to third. Like, didn't even think about it. Just hit the bag and turned. Like, in the way it went. Right?
Yeah. Like he's legit. He legit. I'm seeing things that I have not seen in years from the team, and it's getting me kind of excited, Eric. And I don't know if you can feel my excitement through the microphone. All I'm saying is that what I'm seeing from Yoan Moncada, what I'm seeing from Luis Robert, what I'm seeing from Eloy, what I'm seeing from all these guys, I'm very much happy with the things that these guys are putting out on the field. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then when we're watching them in the WBC and what they're doing with their national teams in the World Baseball Classic, I'm just like, wow, these guys are truly finding themselves again and loving the game of baseball.
What we're watching a little bit early in spring training is the White Sox are doing to other teams what other teams did to us all last year. Like putting the pressure on, run the extra base, make them make the throw, make them do some stuff. And we've seen some teams just not be that good at it, you know, or not be that good at it. So, I mean, I'm excited. Of course, I'm excited. You know, we spent all of last year on Spaces talking about how just bad IQ, low IQ, bad baseball the White Sox played all the way around.
So let's talk about real quick the last 3 games. We had the Cubs. We beat them. It was a 4-3 game. We had Andrew Vaughn. He went 2 for 3 in that game. We had Berger. He went 1 for 1. Grandal went 2 for 4 with an RBI. I believe it was a home run. Colas 1 for 3, who's been ripping the cover off the ball, and a couple other people. You know,
yeah, see my buddy Ramos. Remember we talked about Ramos with Dan? Yeah,
Ramos.
Look at that. Like that was his.
And somebody, who was that? Was it? I don't have the tweet, but I want to say it was one of the insiders saying that Ramos is making a push to make this freaking team. Like,
yeah, I think they went ahead and reassigned him to Double-A. I think.
Oh, they did. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Right. I mean, he's a year or 2 away, but I mean, he's looked like he can hold his own with the bat for sure.
Yeah, and then we had the I want to say, was it the Angels next? Was the Angels the next game?
I want to say it's the Athletics. I think it's the other.
Oh no! It was the Padres.
Padres game.
Yeah, we had the Padres game, and by this time, you know, well, these last 3 games, you know, a lot of the big boppers are with their national teams in the WBC.
Yep.
But we still had Benintendi. I think he got his first or second hit of the year in this game. Andrew Vaughn went 1 for 4. Berger had 2 home runs.
Yeah,
that's fucking
one off of Blake Snell. It's pretty cool. So his son was there for the first time. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, and Gonzo was there, and he took pictures of it and everything like that. So that was pretty cool. Colas went 1 for 1 with a home run.
Yeah, that was his first homer, pinch hit in the 9th.
Yep. So and then Castillo came into the game. Not Castillo, Reyes came into the game is what I want to say. Played well. So, and then yesterday we had the Angels, and it was our first time seeing Clevenger. And a lot of people got to see what our starting rotation is going to look like. I mean, as you were, yesterday was Kopech.
Yesterday was Kopech.
It was Kopech, and it was Clevenger, then Kopech, and Kopech. Oh my God! And I didn't pull it, but Kopech played. He played a good 2 innings. With what I showed you, it was 2 innings.
Yeah. He ended up going 3 innings and struck out 1. No hits. So I mean, perfect. Didn't walk anybody.
But the thing about it, he showed command of 4 pitches.
Yeah.
And I was like, holy shit. Like, are you really going to give us 4 pitches? You're going to give me a 4-pitch Michael Kopech, Eric?
Yeah, like that's the thing I love about the White Sox rotation. And we've talked about this a few times on the side. I can make a case that any of them could be the number 1. I mean, and you wouldn't be far off. Like, you brought up Clevenger, the offseason addition. What's super interesting here is the fact they went out and got him early, right? They went out, signed him. So he's a priority. When you see a guy sign that early, before the spring, before the winter meetings, before the stuff, guy, like, you can tell he was a priority. Mm-hmm. And not only that, it was a pretty risky contract. There's not a lot of value in that contract. It's a 1 year, 8 with a mutual option. With the mutual option means nothing. It's basically a 1 year, $12 million deal. Mm-hmm. So they don't have any control after this year. It's a 1 year deal, so they saw something. And some people might not have been around. Some people maybe forgot. But, Clevenger put up a 4.2 F.WAR in 18, a 4.5 F.WAR in 19, a 5.4 B.WAR, and a 4.2 B.WAR in 18 and 19.
Mm-hmm.
To give you an idea, so his F.WAR was a 4.2 in 18. His was a 4.5 in 19. To give you an idea, Dylan Cease's was 4.4 the last 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if you're trying to compare seasons, and that's the reason why you use WAR, compare seasons, Clevenger in 18-19 was the same as Dylan Cease the last 2 years.
Oh, wow.
So, when you start talking about and what you just saw with Kopech, right? Everybody knows the upside. The swing and miss stuff, the 4 pitches, the stats he had in 21, I think he had 3 pitches over 30% swing and miss rate. It's there. Can he put it together for one season? That's the question. Can he put it together as a starter? Can he, over time, as his body gets tired, as the deal, can he hold up? I think that's the question.
Yeah. So we have a viewer, Jason, is saying Oscar Colas is that dude. What have you seen from Oscar Colas that's, I know here's the thing I want to talk about with Colas. So should we get into this now or should we still talk about the pitchers? Let's talk about the pitchers.
Let's do the pitchers, then we'll go to the Colas stuff.
Let's get to the pitchers. Okay, so let's go with the pitchers. We were just talking about Clevenger, and you said a 4.2 WAR?
He had a 4.2 and a 4.5 F.WAR, and then he had a 5.4 and a 4.2 B.WAR. So, you're talking beyond all-star level. So, for people, then 20 came, which was a COVID season. Then he had Tommy John at 21. So, can he get back there? Maybe, maybe not. But you see why the Sox made this gamble off of the talent, because they think he's a guy for 1 year that might be able to come in here and might be able to be a solid 2-3 starter in this rotation if he's putting up those kind of numbers.
Yeah, we got. So right now we have Lance Lynn. Looks like he's going to be getting the nod for opening day. Do you think that's going to be a thing?
I don't know if they'll throw him or if they'll throw Cease the first day.
Okay.
I would guess they would throw Cease, but I don't know for sure. But Lance Lynn is throwing tonight for our country or whatever.
I'm looking forward to seeing that.
In the WBC, that'll be fun. But yeah, so let's talk about the roster, right? We got 26-man roster. We have to make it in 2 weeks. And this is a big talk of the conversation. So you got 13 pitchers and 13 fielders we have to try to make, right?
Right.
You just made the point. Starting rotation is pretty set.
It's pretty
right.
set. So we got.
I'm gonna guess. If I had to guess how it goes from stuff I've read, I would guess it goes Cease 1, Lynn 2, Gio 3, Clevenger 4. Kopech starts a home opener, Game 5.
I can't wait because I'm in the house. I'll be there. Myself, Justin, Mac, Dre. We're going to be in the house. So
I would guess that's how we roll. So that's done, right? So there's your 5 guys. Now I need 8 guys out in the pen. Let's do some automatics. Kelly, Graveman, Bummer, Lopez, Ruiz, Diekman, Lambert. That gives you 7.
You said Kelly, Graveman, Bummer, who?
Lopez.
Raylo, Ruiz, yeah.
Diekman.
Diekman.
And then part of half the law firm, Lambert, will be out there, right?
Jimmy Lambert. Okay.
So there's 7. That should be 7, I think.
Yeah, that's 7. Yep. So now we're sitting at.
Well, we need one more. The IL, obviously, Liam and Crochet will start on that. We'll start on the IL, so they won't be. They won't count. So I need one more. Now, what's interesting here is the. I don't know if you remember, and I hope I'm saying his name right, but the Nick Avila kid that we took in the Rule 5 draft from San Francisco.
Okay.
So the way the Rule 5 works is he's got to stay on the 26-man roster.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, technically, you would say it's him, but there are a few options here because he don't have options to be sent down. And what I think is going to happen, I would guess they try to work out a trade with San Francisco, and if they can, they end up that he gets his options back and he can go down because he's never pitched past AA before. So I just can't see him sticking him on a 26-man roster with no options for the next 5 years. I can't see that being a long-term solution for the White Sox that's successful. I think they'll try to trade with San Francisco to get his options back and send him down and let him go on. But the guy that we signed from Cleveland, Brian Shaw, I mean, he's got a 0 ERA. I mean, he's a long-time vet, long-time deal. It makes a lot of sense to
I think that's the reason why they signed him.
to probably make the squad.
Especially it was like probably after we got the news about our closer Liam.
Yeah.
Like 2 days, 3 days later, we saw the signing of I can't even think of his name just now. We just said it.
Shaw.
We just
Yeah.
saw the signing of Shaw.
Yeah. And so Justin says, he thinks Avila is going to make the roster, which don't get me wrong, he could, but here's the problem with that. If you look at this right now, Kelly, no options. Graveman, no options. Plummer, no options. Lopez, no options. Ruiz, no options. Diekman, no options. So I have 6 of the 7 pitchers
with no options.
With no options.
Okay.
And I have to add Crochet and Liam at some point this season. And I have nobody to send down.
We got to have at least 2 with options.
The only person I can send down is Jimmy Lambert right now out of these 7. It's the only one I can send down. And I can't send Avila down. If we don't make the trade, or if we don't make the moves, if we don't get his options back, I can't send him down. He has to stick. So I'm not going to lose anybody. Like, you can't cut anybody. So that's where this gets a little tricky here. So I think they're going to try to trade for his rights to give somebody to have that options to be able to sit down and free up some spots.
Right.
And then try to manage.
Because we're probably looking at a June, July entry for Crochet, if I remember reading it correctly.
Yeah, maybe even sounds like a little earlier now. They're talking about maybe him even going to spring training, maybe getting in a game or two, and maybe being here by May.
I have not heard that. Wow.
Yeah, I guess he's ahead of schedule. So, yep, I guess they're saying May for him. So
yeah, so we get if we get Crochet back in May, and then who knows with Liam.
Yeah, who knows? I mean, I hope he's doing well. Best wishes there.
Yeah,
but let's just say Crochet comes back. If Avila's on the roster, I have to send Lambert down. That's it. It's the only guy I can move. So a guy that can move without DFA.
What about Davis Martin?
So he has options. He'll be our swing man, right? So he'll start.
He'll be the one to get called.
He'll be the one doing like he did last year, and he was great. Yeah. That role ain't for everybody. That role ain't for everybody. To be able to get on planes, come back and forth, make spot starts. But he did fantastic last year, and that's a very valuable thing to have.
Right.
So I think that's the bullpen, and I think that's where we're going to hang out. The one thing to keep your eye on, what do they do with Brian Shaw and the Nick Avila kid? Like, what happens there? To me, they're fighting for kind of the last spot, some options, some stuff, or whatever the case may be.
So Justin is saying that Brian Shaw's cutter is amazing, and it plays well every fucking day. He was telling me this when we first got him. So
he was a high leverage reliever for a long time, and he's not afraid to take the ball. He's a lot like Diekman. Like his appearances have been super high. Like they don't mind pitching a lot.
Okay.
So, some of that stuff might matter. And especially like we can do a little bit here. Let's just talk about the closer thing a little bit while we're here. So, because I know you and a lot of the White Sox people want to see Raylo get that shot back there in the back end. Like
I do.
Yeah, I know you do. I don't think they do it. And the only reason I don't think they do it is if I'm not mistaken, he was either first or second. Him or Graveman were first and second in innings pitched out of the pen.
Last
year. So,
okay, I see where you're going with this.
So now if I put him in the pen, a closer might sit for 4 straight days. You might not have an opportunity to close. You might not even be available to close. And I can't use you in other high leverage spots. I can't adjust to you. I can't do that stuff. So, that's the only reason I don't think they put Graveman or Lopez in that role, because I think they want to use them throughout the week in the 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th when they're in high leverage spots.
That's right. You would see Raylo and Graveman come in. We're up 4-3, and we got 2 people on, and they will come in and shut it down. And
so they got to come in that hold situation, right? They got to come in that hold spot.
Yeah, that makes sense, Eric. You always love to bust my bubble. I love Raylo, man. But
no, I think they're going to do it by committee. So I think sometimes he'll get it, if the situation works out that night.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's going to be a permanent guy back there.
That Joe Kelly will be the one we see the most.
That's the name that I said from day one I thought we would see the most. He's done it before. He's a vet. if he has to sit 3 or 4 days, it ain't the end of the world. We don't need him for the high leverage spots because we have Lopez and Graveman, and I would prefer those two probably in the high leverage spots, especially, Bummer as well, obviously. So I kind of got 3 guys that get me to that closer spot. So I think Kelly will get the most shots back there, but maybe not all of them.
When we saw Kelly in spring training, he was touching 100, and it was like, okay, Kelly is starting to get his little feel back. So, I'm not too mad about it. I really like it. So let's just see what happens. You know what I mean?
I think you have a lot of embarrassed veterans from last year. I felt like Lance Lane was embarrassed the way they played. I think Kelly was embarrassed the way he played. Like, I think Grandal was embarrassed the way he played. Like, you got a lot of guys that might have a little bit more of a chip this year, and I'm looking forward to seeing it.
Yeah, so let's talk about some guys with some chips. Let's talk about some guys with some chips on their shoulders.
Yeah.
Number one guy on my list with a chip on his shoulder is Tim Anderson, the face of the Chicago White Sox.
Yeah.
The unspoken leader of the team. I think Tim this year is and I believe his chip comes from where we were last year. The things he's been saying this year gives me everything I need to understand about Tim Anderson. Like,
let's vent. Let me vent a little here. Like, to me, where his chip comes from, and I'm just gonna. There's a couple other Chicago media sports outlets that seem like they were waiting maybe for him to have a little bit of an off situation, because all this man has done since 19 is produce in a White Sox uniform.
Yes,
he showed up, produced, done his job, gotten better, put the work in. And the second the team and him have a step back, the first time, here comes all these paid piranhas, CHGO guys, 670 score guys, Tim Anderson this, Tim Anderson that. Like, he was injured a lot last year. He's always produced. The first time you have a chance to question him, are you going to be that person? How about you just be like, I know Tim. Tim was a professional. He's always shown up and done his work. I think that's where the chip came from. I think people doubted him, doubted the team, doubted everything they went. And it was the first time a team's really seen adversity. Like 20, they weren't supposed to make the playoffs, COVID year, but they did. Backed into it. 21, they smashed the division. Like, I know that the playoffs didn't go well, but guess what? Tell the Braves and the Mets last year how the playoffs went when they won 100 games. The playoffs don't always go well. It's the playoffs, people. It's a short series. They don't always go well. So last year was the first time we had adversity. And here comes all the clickbait people trying to throw everybody under the bus, every situation under the bus instead of helping people carry the bus. And I think that's why he was upset.
And I cannot double stamp what you just said any more than I'm pounding the table to double stamp it right now. He is the heart and soul of this team. And when he speaks and people hear what he says and they misconstrue it as like he's down in the fans or whatever. No, he ain't really caring about what the fans think. He's talking about these other people, like you just said, the clickbait monsters. You know what I'm saying? He
used his platform to take shots at those people.
Yeah.
And those people that immediately came running, and we all know who they were.
Yeah. They
came running to defend him and wanted to throw him under, got upset with what he said. Well, guess what? He was right. Otherwise, you wouldn't be mad about what he said.
Exactly. And I think that Tim is going to use that and that's going to be fuel to what he's going to do this year. And I
mean, and I think he gets a bad rap a little bit too about like maybe not being as vocal or not being a leader, whatever the case. Let's not forget too, like, this man's also a face for baseball, not just the White Sox.
How many times?
I mean, he made what, that Dairy Queen vote thing against Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Like, he's a face in baseball. It just ain't only in the south side of Chicago.
No.
People across the entire baseball landscape know who Tim Anderson is. Like,
I mean, how many times have you seen him running from his walk-off home run?
100%.
Come on.
100%.
I mean,
how about last night? How about last night when he had to deliver it with guys on the base? What happened last night?
He smacked that bitch to fuck.
Leave the man alone. Just let the man play. Let the man do what he does. I mean, he's just a constant winner.
But like you said earlier, and we're going to get off of Tim here in a second, but the moment he came up, he was not a number one shortstop coming out of college. He had to work at this thing.
Yeah, he wasn't even very good. He was a terrible shortstop first couple of years. Terrible.
He was, and so he put the work in to get better, and he
100%.
that. So, like, give the man some grace is all I'm saying.
Yep.
Give the man some grace and allow this man to be who he has been for the White Sox from day one. So
and it's funny, he still hit 300. He still had a halfway decent time on. I know he didn't slug, but I mean, you go out there and slug without a groin, see how that feels. Like, you know what I mean? Like, come on. Like the first time they had a chance to bury him or jump on him, on the front office, on the team, on in general, here comes the certain section of White Sox Twitter that I absolutely hate. And here they all come. Everybody sucks because you act like you've handled adversity before. It was a bad year. You know what?
It was a bad year.
Here we go.
It's a new year now, and here we go. So let's talk about this new year now. We've been seeing a lot of different moving pieces from Pedro Grifol and his lineup construction.
Yep.
One thing that's been a constant, and I want to get this one out the way because this is my favorite one. A lot of people are, I don't know if they're not happy. Let's just say they wasn't so thrilled with bringing Elvis Andrus back and him playing second. Yep. But let's just talk about the fact that we have a strong infield. And that strong infield in the lineup is Elvis Andrus at 9, flipping it back to 1, which is Tim Anderson. So talk about that part of the contract construction, if you will.
Yeah. No, I love it. You and I have talked a lot about
construction. I mean lineup construction.
You know, I know what you're saying. Yeah. We've talked a lot about like this and like how, and the Russo even said it last year, took a lot of heat for it, but the 9 spot is basically your second leadoff position. That's the way it's viewed, right? You want somebody there in that 9 hole that understands game scoring situation. You want somebody that understands how, like, what do I need to do here to get it back to Tim, to get it back to the top? Like, what is my role in this situation right here, right now, to get this thing turned over?
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, like, having a guy like Elvis and the thing I loved about Elvis, and by the way, you can go through my tweets, like January 4th, I think I said he was coming back. But he was all the things the White Sox were missing last year. Smart base running, heads up plays, all the deals, all the excitement, double stealing bags, moving stuff or whatever. And you can tell that's the type of baseball Grifol wants to play. You can see that already. He wants to take advantage of, if that catcher can't throw or that pitcher can't hold somebody on. We watched teams for 2 years torture Dylan Cease and Michael Kopech because they couldn't hold somebody on. Just absolutely just torture them on the base paths.
Yes.
Well, guess what? Now it's finally going to be us, it looks like. We're starting to take advantage of some of those situations. And who better than Elvis to do that? You know, he says he found something in his swing because, I mean, if you go through and look at his stats, they haven't been the best, but they were great while they were here. I mean, maybe he's right, but if he can play 80 OA second base and do the little things that he does, I mean, for $3 million, it's a steal. It's absolutely a steal, in my opinion.
So let's real quick. Let's go through our lineup here because let's talk about the knowns. Okay, then we're gonna do the same thing we did with the pitchers, the knowns, right?
Yep.
We got Tim Anderson.
Yep.
We got Andrew Vaughn.
Yep.
We got Eloy Jimenez.
Yep.
We got Yasmani Grandal.
Yep.
We have Luis Robert.
Yep.
We have Yohan Moncada.
Yep.
We have Elvis Andrus.
Yep, there you go.
And I think those are the 7 that we know for sure every day, damn near every day are going to be played. Oh, whoa, one more.
That's 8.
No, that's 7.
Oh, yeah, as soon as you say this.
Andrew fucking Vaughn.
No, you said him first. Benintendi, so you missed, I think.
Oh, Benintendi. Yeah, Benny.
Yeah.
Okay, Benny.
Yeah.
Benny. Yeah, so Benny's there. And then we have that right fielder situation.
Yeah.
And we also have the Leuri situation.
Yeah.
And we have the situation with bringing Billy Hamilton back to Chicago.
Yeah.
And we have the situation of bringing Berger up from AAA.
Right.
And we have the situation of having a couple young kids that might want to break camp with us, the 26 man. Like
this is the reason why I wanted to talk today.
Let's talk it out then.
This is the hardest part. This is the hardest part probably to try to figure out. Like, I guess first and foremost, you're right.
Jason said Colas is the guy. It's simple.
8's done, right? 8's done, right? Like 8's done. So like that's pretty easy.
Yeah, 8 is done.
Now, actually, you know what? You can even throw 9 in because Sebi has to make the ball club.
Yeah, Sebi does.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Sebi has to
Sebi's in, right?
Sebi is 9, yes.
So now I have 3 other bench spots I have to try to fill. And I got right field to fill.
No, you got four spots. 4 spots to fill. Well, you're not counting right
3
field.
bench and right field, right?
Okay, right.
I got to figure out how you're going to do this. And you know, typically I've seen a lot of solutions, a lot of stuff, you know, whatever. Like, it's very tricky. Let's go first. Let's go Colas in. Let's say he's in, right? It's a different chance. I have my own opinion. You have your opinion. We don't think he's in start the year, but let's just say he's. If Colas is in, this gets very tricky. All right, Colas is right fielder. Put him down, all right? Colas is in.
Colas is in. Got it.
Now I have Sebi on the bench.
Sebi.
I have 3 spots left. So now I either got Romy and Garcia.
Okay, so Romy.
Probably Romy, right? It looks like or feels like.
Yeah, thinking Romy.
All right. Sheets has got to make the team, right?
He's the other outfielder. He has to make the team. He has to. All
right. Well, now I only got 1 spot left. Now here's where the problem comes. Because you cannot run a ball club with only 1 backup infielder. You can't do it. Because like if you give Tim Anderson a day off and Romy plays short, I can no longer pinch run for Godal. I can't hit. I can't do nothing. I have no subs. I have no backups. Like, there's no way what we've already heard from Grafal, he's going to want to manage a bench like that. Okay. You're not going to want a bench that's already handicapped that you can't do anything.
Okay. So you don't want to, you're not going to make me go out and start this season with one hand tied behind my back.
Yeah. You ain't going to go, I only got 1 guy down. And like, you know, Makata needs a day off. He goes, plays deal. Well, now I can't do anything. I can't change anything in the lineup because I only have Romy. Like, so like, this is where if you think Colas is making the team and Sheets is making the roster, it's almost got to be Romy and Garcia, which leaves Billy Hamilton out. Because now Garcia's that extra emergency guy that can play outfield, infield, do anything you want.
Yuri has to make the team then.
If you got Colas on, he's got to make it because you don't have a backup infield.
That's that's the only way it works. I don't see.
If you have Colas making it, like I don't see any other way around it.
But what about Berger?
Yeah, he don't make it either in this scenario. But this is why I don't think Colas starts the team. Because now watch what happens if I put.
So if we take Luis, if we take Oscar Colas out of the 4 remaining spots after the 9 that we know are going to make it, and we put Sheets there, and then we got Berger, Sebi, Romy, and Garcia.
Yeah, or I can go Berger, Romy, Hamilton, and Garcia can get cut. Because Berger's playing 3rd and 1st. So in an emergency situation, he can buy me an extra infielder, buy me an extra spot.
And at this point in time in our lives, we think Berger's bat is more valuable than Leury's bat.
Yeah. I mean, Berger's bat just plays. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It just plays. But the probability is you need somebody else that can help in the infield in a jam-up spot or in some deal. You can't just run with 1 deal. And the other interesting thing you're going to run into that people have to keep in mind is Colas, Hamilton, even Shaw, the kid from Houston, Marichek. None of these guys are on the 40-man roster. So if they get added, somebody's got to get kicked off the 40-man. And so you have to keep that in mind as well. Somebody's going to get DFA'd if any of these guys are at.
Oh, wow. Who the fuck is DFA'd?
Yeah. So, and I don't – let's say – right. So, that's – you're going to have to make some moves here. So, somebody says, well, I want Colas and Hamilton on the team. Well, one, that don't really work because now I only have 1 backup infielder. And 2, that's 2 guys I have to add to the 40-man roster that aren't on it, and I have to DFA 2 guys. So, like, I don't love that scenario for anything.
No, I don't either.
I don't think Cola starts up for a few reasons. And I'll just get him out of the way. I don't want to get big into it. Maybe he is, maybe he doesn't. That's not what you and I do here. You know, we just kind of lay out the options and the stuff, and people can make up their own minds. But I don't think he makes it because Eloy has been very vocal about wanting to play the outfield.
He has been, yes.
What did he lose? 25, 30 pounds?
25 pounds. Well, it's like 27 pounds, something like that. And he's been playing outfield actually pretty fucking good for his.
Yep. And he played right field today in the WBC.
Yeah, he did. He played right field.
So are you gonna tell one of your future superstars?
You're relegated.
Thanks for putting in the work all season. Thanks for doing everything you did, but DH?
Yeah.
Like, that's a tough pill to swallow. Number 2.
But hold on. Before we go there, and before you continue with number 2, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off.
No, that's all right. That's all right.
So we're saying Benny, Robert, Eloy might break camp as the starting outfielders, and Eloy playing right field, or Benny playing right field, keep Eloy in left.
No, Benny would stay in left. If Eloy played right, but the way that if it's me, if you're just asking, if it's me, I'm playing against left-handed pitching.
Mm-hmm.
I'm playing Eloy in right, and Berger is DHing.
Wow.
Against right-handed pitching, Sheets goes out to the outfield, and Eloy DHs. And that's how I manage. That's how I manage the lineup.
Okay. Now I see what you're trying to with the fact that we no longer have Leuri, but we have Berger's bat, and we put him in at a strength against left-hand pitching.
Yep.
And then on days when we have right-hand pitching, it's more often than not we'll see Eloy DHing,
and Sheets will go in the outfield.
And then we still get the pop and power that Gavin Sheets has.
Yep.
Then
you have Hamilton at the end of the game to come in and be your defensive specialist to take Sheets out of the lineup, and that's how I would manage this roster.
Holy shit balls. That's crazy. I think I don't know. Eric, you always blow my mind sometimes with this shit. Like, okay.
You know, and the only other reason
you just asked this about Berger, though.
Yeah.
And Berger spots Yoan, Vaughn, and then Andrews and TA kind of substitute for each other. Because
Romy takes one and one can move over, or however they decided that, or Romy plays both.
Romy will come in to second or short, and then the other one will go wherever, right?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Yeah. I mean, okay. Yeah. I mean, I can't really argue that, because my whole thing with Colas, and it wasn't about anything with the roster. My thing with Colas was I need to see Oscar Colas against. I mean, we saw him against Corbin Burns, one of the best pitchers in the MLB.
Yeah.
Right. And he did get a hit off of him.
He did. So did everybody else that day, but he did get a hit off of him.
Right. And Corbin had a terrible day. But at the same time, I don't know if he's ready to produce at a high clip in the bigs right now. I need to see him against some of these arms in AAA. And then, you know, we're going to talk about it, and a lot of people don't want us to fucking talk about it, but we are going to do what we do, Eric. We're going to start his clock, like right there.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason. You can't tell me that you think Colas starting day one versus having Sheets, Eloy, and Berger on the bench is a stronger effort for starting this clock. Like, I'm not gaining anything. I'm not gaining anything by putting Colas out there. I'm not gaining anything. My team is not any better. Now, is Colas gaining experience? Is that going to help him down the road? Sure. But you know what? Bring him up May 1st. So will that. Or June 1st. So will that. That's fine. And I get to keep his extra year of stuff. And not only that, people are underselling the year Gavin Sheets had. Gavin Sheets, since being recalled, going out and work with Johnson, you know, he put up like a 107 WRC plus. He was a 439 slugger. These numbers are 439 slugging is like top 60 in America in baseball.
I'm I'm not that
You
guy.
think Colas, who has 7 games of minor league action and set out 2 years, is ready to be a top 60 slugger in MLB? Like, you have to prove it to me. You're going to prove it to me in Charlotte first before I'm going to even think about it.
And I'm with you on that. Prove it in Charlotte. But at the same time, I'm one of the guys that's been banging the table on don't give up on Sheets.
No.
I've been saying it. I've been talking to people. I've been on shows. I've been whatever. Don't give up on Gavin Sheets. Like, this guy has power to fucking go. Like, he really does. But Jason is saying that he's a better defender than Sheets, and he's going to be a better hitter.
Yeah. And maybe he's going to be a better defender too, but I also just watch him fall in the net and throw balls over cutoff guys and get balls stuck in fence. Like, he only played 34 games last year. 34 games in right field.
Right.
I got bad news for people that don't understand, that don't know Colas' history. Guess what? He was a first baseman and a pitcher. No different than Gavin Sheets was a first baseman. Vaughn was a first baseman. He's not a natural athlete. Now he's more athletic, of course, than Sheets is.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's obvious. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And maybe he is going to be a better fielder, but
he's built like a fucking tank.
Yeah, dude. That bat speed is off the charts.
It's crazy.
Off the charts. So,
like, it's nuts.
Yeah. I think Colson got the chance to hit 35 home runs. I think he's got that chance. But there's no way you're telling me a guy that put up the same numbers in Double-A that Sosa did, that he's ready to jump Eloy and Gavin Sheets day one in the outfield because he had 7 games that he struck out 36% of his at-bats in Triple-A. Like, even I know he's got a high batting average this year so far in the spring, but if you watch these games, man, it's a lot of – there's 2 infield hits on there. There should be 2 errors in there. It's a lot of ground balls. Now, the last couple games, you've seen him start to lift it. He got a double. He's got a couple of homers. Like, he's definitely coming a little more in rhythm.
And our friend King Mac said the plan was, and then he thinks that the pitching coaches and everything was telling him to work on something to where he wants the ball to get deeper so he could see it better.
Yeah, because he was struggling on the corners, 100%, right? He was struggling on the corners. There's no way around it, But
so, I mean, that makes sense.
Sure. And here, let me read you a little bit of something here that, that Grafal said too, like for the defensive Jason crowds and the stuff or whatever. Like, yeah, he's more athletic. I 100% get it. I agree with you. He's more athletic than either one of those two. But like Grafal said, there's a lot of work to be done. Base running, the outfield, throwing to the right bases, getting behind the balls, throwing is not being flat-footed. He's like, all those things are being addressed. Like, it's not like he's this perfect polished tool right now. That's a great base runner, elite fielder, and we'll let his bat come around. He's got a little bit of work to do in every department. I don't see why you would not only by starting him, you're telling Eloy that his offseason work don't mean nothing. You're telling Sheets that the season he had last year, which is 107, 7% better than league average, being a top 60 slugger wasn't worth nothing. We're going to go with the unpolished rookie and push everybody down. Like, I just don't think as an organization you run it that way. I think he has to go down and prove it like everybody else. He don't get a pass.
I don't think so either. And I think that's a good way to look at it, in my opinion. And like I said, I was looking at it for more of a front office. The kid is talented.
Oh,
you can't say it. The kid is talented. And I've been telling Mac, like, I'm coming around. I would not be mad. If he broke camp. I just don't know how it works with roster construction, with books, not books, but how we run the front office and so on and so forth. Because, like you said, you lose a bench player, and now I can't see Berger every 5 or 6 days, and I need to see Berger.
That's part of it, and I'm just looking down. I want the extra year to control.
Yep, that's
bring him up June 1st. What is 45 games down to Charlotte hurting?
Nothing. We lose nothing.
And let's him go down there. Let's him improve on his stuff. Gives him 30 more games in the outfield because he only played 34 games in right field last year. He played more in center than he did anywhere else.
But like I said, we lose nothing, but we gain everything.
And if he hits his way and fields his way onto the team, somebody's got to go down. Great. Fantastic.
Exactly. I don't see
the
we lose Billy Hamilton. Okay.
Yeah, I see no downside in him starting in Charlotte. I just don't see any downside in that. I see all upside. I see upside for control, upside for sending Eloy and Sheets positive
and
messages.
upside for his development.
Upside on the White Sox bench.
Yeah.
By not having down there, I see all upside by him starting in Charlotte. But that we'll find out.
Last but not least, and we're gonna talk about this last thing before we go.
Yep.
What the hell is going on with our freaking brand new manager and people? I'm one of those people now. I'm one of these. I'm one in the character. Why are you telling me that Andrew Benintendi, who hasn't slugged, he has a 399 slug and whatever, why is he hitting number 3 on my fucking baseball team? On my Chicago White Sox, he should be batting 7, 8, 9, whatever. Why is he that guy? Why is he batting third, Eric?
Yeah, I think it's important to ask that question. I think he came out and said it's not by accident. He said he's going to leave it there and he's going to explain on a different day, but I can pretty much already do it for you. I can tell you what he's going to say. He's going to say that he thinks Benintendi is he struck out 34% of the time in Charlotte. So and that's false. Anyway, so so he's going to say Benintendi's a cerebral hitter. He's going to say he's a guy that understands game, scores, and situations. We've already seen the White Sox turn up the heat on the base pass. We've seen them start running. We've seen him steal more. We've seen him move more. And who have we seen in the 1-2 hole so far? Before he had to go to WBC, it was Anderson and Robert.
Yep.
When those guys get on, you're going to want somebody there to take a pitch. Somebody there to maybe take 2 pitches. Somebody there to give Anderson or Robert a chance to swipe that bag and to move people up. And you're not going to ask your Eloy or Vaughn to take pitches. They're going to be 2 of our better hitters. We don't want them taking strikes. We don't want them seeing stuff. We want them mashing baseballs is what we want them doing. That's their job, is to mash baseballs. So I think what he's going to say is the way he wants to manage the game is he's going to want somebody that understands game, scoring, situation to have him move.
Okay, so what you're telling me is that in our future, we're going to see a lineup of Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Andrew Benintendi, Eloy Jimenez, Yasmani Grandal,
probably,
and then Vaughn, Yoan
7, Moncada 7, Sheets 8,
and then Andrews 9. I don't know. I didn't see that coming.
The only thing I'm upset about, to be honest with you, the only thing that worries me, whatever the case, I don't mind it, but Andrew Vaughn hitting 6 in that lineup doesn't seem correct.
You saw what I had. I had Vaughn in the 2 spot.
Yeah. But I think it's important, so now we're going to try to understand why he made the decision. It's not about what we think the decision should be. I agree with you. I think who's ever hotter between Robert and Vaughn, I can see him flipping 2-5 or 2-6, the 2 of them. If one of them's hot for a while, get them some more at bats. But to me, it looks like what we can look for in the White Sox baseball this year is more aggressive on the base pass, taking advantage of certain situations and certain deals. And I think that he believes that Benintendi's that type of hitter that can do that for him.
So
they're in the 3 hole.
So I'm just gonna recap this hypothetical, might be chiseled in stone lineup. So we got TA, Luis Robert, Andrew Benintendi, Eloy, Yaz, Andrew Vaughn, Yoan, Sheets, and Elvis.
I think that's your game 2 lineup. It won't be game 1 because we're going against tough lefties. So you probably won't see Sheets. You might see Benintendi not in the 3 hole because of the lefty that day.
Yeah.
Even though he don't do bad against lefty, but you might see. I don't think you see Sheets play day 1, but that's your game 2 lineup right now, as far as I can see.
Oh man. So
then we're going to run the bench with Romy, Berger, and Billy Hamilton.
Right.
That's the way I see it right now, 2 weeks from opening day. Now, we'll learn a little bit more when the guys get back from the WBC, right? Yeah. But Right now, I think that's how I see it play out. And I'm going to say Brian Shaw makes the team, and Avila doesn't in the pen. I think they'll either cut him or try to trade for him.
So, dang, I'm struggling with this one, Eric. I really am. Only because
you don't like the lineup, do you? You don't like it.
I don't like Vaughn hitting sixth. I don't like Vaughn hitting seventh. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I guess I would have to see it play out. I mean, and then Yaz has been playing. He's had a good spring. I don't know. Okay.
I'd like to see Vaughn in the 5. I think you could see it too. Vaughn in the 5 and then Yaz in the 6. I think you could see that.
Yeah.
I think you could see that.
I might be more happy with that.
Yeah, because, I think you could see that.
I don't think we can go Eloy without protection yet.
No, and I think you can cement in Anderson 1, Benintendi 3, Eloy 4. I think there's a lot of flexibility between Robert, Vaughn, Makata, and Yaz. I think I could see those 4 guys. Who's hot, better matchup, not better matchup. Maybe you can see some of those guys move around 2, 3, 2, and 5 through 7. I think you can see some of those guys move around.
Yeah.
I think Elvis is 9. So I think you can kind of, and whoever the right field is probably 8. So I think you can probably cement those in, but I can see some flexibility there for sure.
Ooh-wee. I'll tell you what, man, it's going to be a fun year. I'm
excited.
I will be in the stands with Mac, with Justin, hopefully Dre, on the 3rd of April, man. I cannot wait. I was going to take a half a day, but I'm taking a full day.
Yeah, you better take a full day. And if you're going to take a half day, you might want to take it the day after.
Yeah, I don't think I could. I don't think I could contain myself.
Can you take 2 halves? Can you work a morning and then take the half of the next day?
It's a midday game, so it's 3 o'clock, 3:10 Central game. So I think it's okay. I could I was gonna just take a half a day of work, but no, I gotta take the full day.
I think you'll get Kopech too. I think Kopech's gonna be the starter.
Oh man, I would love to see Kopech fucking. But we shall see, and I guess I would have to just see. I don't have any problem with letting the manager do his job, and I have a little bit of faith in Grifol because what I've seen with his lineup construction throughout the spring has just been kind of just eye opening. It's like, wow, he's really trying to find the groove of the guys, and then he had to work around the WBC.
And the lineup's got to dictate what type of ball you're going to play.
Right.
See, the White Sox have been a station-to-station baseball team for a long, long time.
At least 10 years.
Maybe that's coming to an end. To me, putting Benintendi in the 3-hole, that's the message he's sending, is Anderson and Robert are going to run. Now, if we get to June and Benintendi's hitting the 3-hole and Robert and Anderson ain't running, I'm going to have questions.
Right.
But for right now, that tells me they're running.
Yeah, and I said this earlier. I think we're going to be seeing Robert and TA both swiping 20 bags. At least.
Yeah, it looks like it. It looks like they're going to put that pressure on.
Yeah.
And that's why Robert's in the 2, and that's why, and that's why the Benintendi's in the 3. Looks like they're going to run. Looks like they're going to run.
I'm pretty happy about that. So I guess that'll do it for our quick little pop-up show we had today, Eric. You got anything else?
I don't think so.
I'm looking forward to the big bastard pitching tonight. I really am.
Yeah, me too, man. I hope so. I was happy. I was nervous for Makata.
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine going to play for your country and just going like over. I was scared when he was.
No, but he's
2 games.
He has been.
What was he? 0 for 9, 0 for 10, like 2 games in. But man, he got hot. I can't wait to see Lynn tonight. You're gonna get the passion out of Lynn tonight. Oh man. And then I just hope he strikes that first guy out. If he strikes that first guy out, that spin, and that that's going to be epic.
It's going to be great. And I think that just seeing TA, and people have been like, why is he starting? He's the starting shortstop for the United States team. Get over it.
Right.
That makes no sense. But anyway, I watched the DR team today. Holy shit. Holy shit.
Imagine being so stacked that Eloy didn't play the first game.
Right. I mean, Eloy batted in 5th in that lineup behind Devers.
And he sat the first game.
Yeah.
The team is so good, he didn't even play.
It's like, what in the fuck, man? They have Soto. I forget who hits 2, but I know it's Machado, it's Devers, and then Eloy.
It was it's Machado, Devers.
Oh, it's Julio. It's
Julio Rodriguez was up there. Yeah.
It's like, what?
Yeah.
Like, this is crazy. No, so I love this WBC. I love it.
It's super fun to watch. I tell you what else too. They better not set TA again tonight.
No, they better not.
I know it's in the first game, but you better find a way to get him in the field.
Yeah, for sure. And then just to watch Shohei Ohtani fucking dominate baseball is crazy. Yeah. Like, this guy.
Not only that, like, can I just say, like, is there a better ambassador for the game than that man?
Not one.
Smiles, laughs, but is all business when it's time, but when it's not, like, man, I mean, what a guy.
He's a great guy. Yeah. So let's enjoy the WBC tonight. We're gonna watch Lance Lynn. We call him the big. Everybody calls him the Big Bash. It's not just us.
Yep.
He's gonna go out there and hopefully he shoves, and it's gonna be great.
Then let's do it next Monday. Then probably all this will change. We'll do it next Monday. Then probably
right, everything changes. So thank you for tuning in. This has been the Juke Joint. This is the Suited For show, and we're gonna cut the lights off in this bitch.
Thanks, everybody.
All right, buddy.